This is a training facility in China. This is the Nanning Gymnasium. And now here you see is a normal day of training in gymnastics. Do you see the way how the coach is forcing these children in weird shapes? Did you see how the coach just twist and pull their limbs this way and that way, however he liked? Did you see the expression on this child's face? Or did you see how the coach just kicked at his student? Or how the girl was pulled off from the beam? Believe it or not, this is how training is every day in Chinese gymnastics training facility centers. So how do you feel about this? We all know that gymnastics is an amazing sport. It teaches individual grace and it builds strength. But gymnastics training is too intense, especially in the Chinese method. The Chinese are definitely pushing their gymnasts from such a young age, and they're asking for such a high expectation for all these young children that they cannot fulfill. The expectations for a young child is just too much for them to accomplish. Bill Skillers from Foreign Affairs reports that sports are created for health and strength, but today sports are now becoming harmful to children athletes, causing bone deformation, overexhaustion, and severe illness. So because of the expectations of the sport is just too much, it really causes a child to stress out because they're too young to understand the discipline and to actually really go through the discipline in the gymnastics training. It's just too much to strain upon a fragile child's body. It's too much for them to endure. Next, let's look at the abuse in the training of gymnastics. Gymnastics comes with the three components of flexibility, strength, and mentality. Chinese officials believe that without beating, there is no success. Well, Matthew Pinson, a German Olympic coach, has visited one of the Chinese gymnastics facility centers, and he reports because it's a pretty disturbing experience because what he saw really shocked him, because the children were being pushed so hard that it was just unbelievable. Like, he saw it as child abuse because he accepts the fact that Western training is different from Eastern training. And later on, he discovers that when he was observing from a little boy's back that this boy had a marking on his back, and he believed that these kids were actually being abused. Why? Because there's a difference between the limits of pushing your child or the gymnast into becoming better, to persevere, and versus where the coach is upset and frustrated with their student and actually hits them because they can't get it right. So there's a totally different difference between those two, of being pushed to the limits versus being abused. Believe it or not, Chinese government actually is demanding for more sports systems, training systems, which is actually allowing young children such as 4 and up to be taken away from their home, far away out to the city, to these Chinese gymnastics training facility centers to be trained intensely and brutally. Virginia Wu from Epoch Times reports that these children as young as 4 or 8 years old are trained many hours a day and often live far away from the family. So these children don't know what's really going on, except for they are training in gymnastics and they are disciplined every day to really become better and better. So the government is demanding too much for these young children and to take this opportunity to go into the sport of gymnastics. And it really just disciplines the child's body, where it's just too much for them to endure. Now, so the expectations in the Chinese method is just way too high for children to achieve because they're too young to really understand, to really take the pain of this training in gymnastics. And 2, the abuse and crucial training of gymnastics. There is a limit between to pushing the gymnast just to persevere and to what abuse is. And it's wrong for how the government is allowing this to happen because these children are so young, and it really is morally wrong to take such young children away from their homes and depriving them from the youth. So how do you feel about this now, knowing that this is what happens in China? Think about it. How would you like it if it was your own child being treated this way? Thank you.